Good to go. Ladies and gentlemen. Nice echo. If I could have your attention, please. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much for coming along this evening, and welcome to the Wood Awards 2021, held for the first time, I believe, here at the Building Centre. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name's Dave Hopkins. I'm the Chief Executive of Timber Development UK, one of the principal sponsors of the Wood Awards, and in fact, the organisation that will be helping now assimilate the Wood Awards into our everyday practice. Please come forward and fill the space if you can, and helping to organise and run the Wood Awards from here on in. For anyone who doesn't know, and I'm sure that you all do as a greatly informed audience, the Wood Awards is the UK's premier celebration of excellence in architecture and product design from timber. We celebrate all things timber, all things wood, throughout all of the exhibition. You can see displayed just over here behind you, and I hope you do get a good chance to look through and see what has been entered this year. We've got some incredible buildings, we've got some incredible furniture, we've got some incredible design work that is there. This year has been slightly different. We've put the Wood Awards in with what we've called the World of Wood Festival, and I do hope that, I think standing somewhere over that way, there are small tote bags full of books, goodies, event schedules, giveaways, and all sorts of things that you can see that we have been doing as part of our World of Wood Festival. It was thought up to coincide with COP26, the climate change talks. Coming from the point of view as the person who runs the main trade association for the timber industry, we believe that the timber industry is a great way to decarbonise construction. We have a long way to go, but all of the examples of the buildings, the projects, the designs that you see coming up today are examples of how you can achieve those goals. But today is about celebrating excellence in design and architecture. So I'm not going to go much further with what I want to say. I'm only the person to get you into position. First of all, I want to thank all of our major sponsors who have made this possible this evening. The American Hardwood Export Council, Binderholz, the Carpenters Company, and of course, Timber Development UK, members of each of those organisations who are with us tonight. And American Softwoods, who I think are somewhere in the audience. But that's enough from me to get everybody lined up, ready for the awards. I'd like to introduce our host for this evening. Our next speaker, Mr. Chris Foges, is a writer and editor working in architecture and design. He's the contributing editor at the Reba Journal. He writes for publications including Architectural Record, The Telegraph. He was previously the editor of Architecture Today for 15 years, and he's edited a number of books on design and architecture, and we know that his next publication will be all about timber. He doesn't know that, but we know that. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome your host for this evening, Mr. Chris Foges.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Good evening, everybody, and welcome again to this fantastic celebration of excellence in architecture and design using wood. It's still slightly novel and rather wonderful to see a room full of people, especially after the last couple of years, obviously, when the pandemic meant that the Wood Awards couldn't have a live presentation. So that means on the plus side, this is the 51st edition of the Wood Awards, but the 50th awards ceremony, which is a kind of milestone of sorts. And so, as round number anniversaries tend to invite stock taking, and my memory doesn't stretch back all the way to 1971, I was prompted to think back to the first Wood Awards that I attended, which was in 2007. And that wasn't all that long ago in the grand scheme of things, certainly not in the context of architecture and design, where things tend to move quite slowly by and large. And yet it seems that timber and the way of working with wood has moved on remarkably fast and far. I remember that one of the prize winners back then was a solid wood building, not the first in the UK, but one of the first, and I think the first to receive a Wood Award. And that was a harbinger of things to come. And in the same year, I visited Derica Marsh Morgan's CLT gym at Kingsdale Foundation School, designed by Alex de Rijker, who's somewhere in the room. There he is. And when I was there, Alex told me timber is the new concrete. And that sounded a bit outlandish to me at the time, sorry. But it doesn't now. And nor does it sound outlandish when people talk of a timber revolution or a new timber age. Those are becoming just simple statements of fact. And as it happens, I must say, my children go to Kingsdale School, like the building very much, but when I tell them that it was one of those projects that was the sort of start of big things, they do give me rather blank looks. I don't think the architectural appreciation gene has kicked in quite yet for them. But the sense that architecture and design with wood is an expanding field of possibilities with sort of horizons, new horizons opening up everywhere, is not just about CLT, it's about a broad spectrum of innovation in new products, engineering, digital fabrication that's really gathered pace in recent times, producing faster, cleaner, and more accurate ways of making buildings that are, as well as making great buildings, are acting as a real provocation to the rest of the construction industry, which, may I say, is, well, let's say, slightly hidebound in some ways. And I'm aware here that there's a risk of preaching to the converted, or possibly not even converted, the clergy of wood and some of the saints of wood. But sometimes these things do look more remarkable to an observer than they do to the participants. And there really are no other areas of architectural production, I don't think, where progress has been so fast and where architects and designers that I talk to are so excited about what they're doing and what they're learning. And that excitement is infectious, and it draws in others who might previously have worked in very different ways. And they're welcomed, it seems to me, into a very open and generous culture around wood, which is born from a love of the material. And it's, this kind of timber boom has been great for me as a magazine editor. I mean, firstly, it's just a privilege to go and talk to people about what they're doing. One day last month, I spoke to two architects. One was doing some kind of very inventive circular economy campus down in a woodland, building kind of very odd structures, but pointing to a much bigger aspect of work with wood that we don't really talk about, which is the enormously sort of beneficial economic impacts and on impacts that kind of work has. And the other one was doing a project trying to find ways of replicating a big timber frame for supermarkets at scale. And the problem was, how to make a complex thing, as he put it, dumb enough that even you, i.e. me, could do it. So, I took no offense at that. But, for publishing in general, wood is great. Novelty makes good copy, and a lot of what's genuinely fresh in design at the moment does involve working with wood. So, there's a great example right there. World's first structural cork stair. Beautiful to touch. And that haptic, multisensory appeal of wood is unique to that material. What Frank Lloyd Wright called the most humanly intimate of all materials, I think. And that makes me think it's not entirely coincidental that the growing appreciation and application of wood in lots of environments like airports and workplaces may not be completely unrelated to the fact that in the rest of our lives, we increasingly experience remoteness, the generic and the intangible. And people are hungry for the natural warmth of things made in wood and the finish of those things that bear the mark of a maker, and later on they bear the mark of age and they bear the mark of the people that have used them. And I think, looking at the exhibition here, we can see that craftsmanship in wood is flourishing. But the big driver, of course, of surging interest in wood is the great climate emergency that we face, and particularly the recent emphasis, or the shift in emphasis to tackling embodied carbon. And it's a problem to which wood presents an almost magically effective solution. But even so, the way that it's come to occupy a central place in people's thinking over a relatively short period of time is striking. That's not to say that people didn't previously understand that wood was a sustainable material, but rather that there's a new realization, I think, that it's absolutely indispensable, that it has to be a big part of the picture if getting to net zero is any kind of realistic prospect. And just to pick one example that came to mind, I recall the campaign to get wood adopted as the material of choice for the London 2012 Olympics. And there were some beautiful buildings that made very beautiful use of of wood there. But in the main, it was business as usual. And we flash forward to the present, or in fact to Paris 2024, and all new buildings are going to be in timber. And more significantly, the French government has announced, or used the Olympics to announce, that from now on, all state-funded public buildings must be at least 50% wood or other biomaterials. So the world is catching up very rapidly with what many people in this room have been saying and doing and agonizing over and pushing for a long time. And getting to grips with embodied carbon is probably the main subject of discussion in architecture at the moment. Certainly it produces the biggest post-bag at publications with which I'm involved, and I think probably the most heated debates on social media. And it's a vital conversation to have, obviously, but so vital, it seems to me, that it sometimes risks occluding all the other things that architecture and design is supposed to do, reducing everything to a series of binary oppositions and flattening out the qualities of materials. And I think that's what's so valuable about the Wood Awards, is that much of the focus is on what an inherently sustainable material contributes to our experience and enjoyment, about usefulness and beauty and appropriateness and judgment and performance and expression and invention and continuity in a living tradition, and all the things that we look for in architecture and buildings, seen through the prism of wood. And it's a kind of, as is understood, a very rigorous process in doing that. So I think at a time of rapid change, which I suggested it is, the need for that kind of reflection is even greater. And the work that's shortlisted here and the ones that go on to win do help to raise the game all round and give a lead that others follow. And I know that people follow it because of that first Wood Awards that I went to in 2007, the material that was used by two of the winning projects, I went immediately out and procured that for a project that I was working on, having seen the example left there. So while we celebrate the winners tonight, we are also planting seeds for what comes next in architecture and design, and what looks like, hopefully, a very productive and exciting chapter in the history of design with wood. With that, let's find out who's won. But first, some housekeeping notes. The housekeeping notes are: please, can only winning teams come up to collect their certificates? Highly commended teams don't need to. Your certificates will be available after the ceremony. And once the winning teams have collected their certificates, please make your way down the cork stairs, have a good feel, enjoy them, and have your photo taken at the bottom of the steps. So, to proceed, we'll begin with the buildings competition. The Wood Awards buildings judges shortlisted 19 projects nationwide. Chaired by Jim Greaves, the jury comprised Andrew Lawrence, David Morley, Adam Richards, Ruth Slavid, Kirsten Haggart, Nathan Wheatley, Jonas Lenzer, and Andy Trotman. And this year there are 5 buildings categories and a structural award. The first category is commercial and leisure. Let's see the 5 shortlisted projects. 16 Chart Street is a former 1930s furniture warehouse that's been developed into a contemporary and adaptable office space while retaining almost all the original structural fabric. Using spruce and beech, the existing 4-story building has been extended sideways and upwards with CLT panels and hardwood LVL beams. The Alice Hawthorne is a community-led project that uses Douglas fir, larch, poplar plywood. The village's last remaining pub had been saved from extinction through the addition of entirely timber-framed buildings, which transform it into a guest house. Lockerbie Sawmill comprises new offices and visitor meeting rooms for the flagship mill of the UK's largest sawmiller. Almost entirely erected from the sawmiller's own products, it's been built using Douglas fir, larch, spruce, oak, glulam, and JJI joists. The Sands End Community and Arts Centre replaces an older facility that stood in the vicinity but had been sold. Whitewood spruce has been used to create a series of new, flexible, 1-story pavilions clustered around a refurbished Grade 2 listed lodge. And the Welcome Building, RHS Garden Bridgewater, sits within the new garden on the site of the 154-acre Worsley New Hall. Built with Siberian larch and European spruce, the flexible open space acts as a gateway to the gardens and also contains a visitor meeting and interaction point, a restaurant, gift shop, offices, and educational space. The judges have awarded highly commended to a project that is an intelligent response, well conceived, and well executed. The highly commended project is the Welcome Building, RHS Garden Bridgewater by Hodder & Partners. And now for the winner of the commercial and leisure category. These carefully thought, delightful buildings have a level of sophistication never before seen in agricultural style buildings. The winner is the Alice Hawthorne. The next category is education and public sector, where there are 5 shortlisted projects. David Brownlow Theatre has been carefully crafted to sit harmoniously with the neighbouring buildings within a wooded campus setting. Natural materials create a passively ventilated theatre designed to host school assemblies, recitals and productions. The project uses CLT, Virock panels and beech. Guildford Crematorium replaces the existing building which had come to the end of its life. Built using oak and spruce, the new building and landscape were influenced by the range of visitors and the stages of grief that they experience as they move through and use the site. Ibstock Place School Refectory is a reimagined grand timber hall with a lofty structure built with European oak and spruce and American white oak. A century-old staircase at the heart of the school prompted a determination to build on the history of timber craftsmanship. Cantor Centre of Excellence, the Anna Freud Centre and Pears Family School, is the first centre of excellence for children and young people's mental health in England. A new structure wraps around a refurbished chocolate factory dating from 1915. The project uses a beech GL70 laminated veneer lumber frame combined with timber concrete composite floors. And Magdalen College Library is the first substantial addition to the main college site in over 50 years. Built using spruce and oak, the new library is an arrangement of simple brick volumes with timber windows and pitched roofs that echo the gabled architecture of the college. There are 2 highly commended projects within this category. The highly commended projects are David Brownlow Theatre by Jonathan Tuckey Design and Ibstock Place School Refectory by McCrane Lavington Architects. And now for the winner. The judges praised this exquisitely designed project. The winner is Magdalen College Library. And the team is Neil McLaughlin Architects, Magdalen College, Smith & Woolworth, Coxedge, Urban, Neuer Holzbau, Wedge Joinery, Piper Joinery, Trojan Wood Joinery, and James Latham. Next is the interiors category, where there are 2 shortlisted projects. 1930s apartment was a tired and uncomfortable 1-bed flat with no storage and an impossibly small kitchen and bathroom. Using European cherry and oak, it's been transformed into a practical and beautiful pied-à-terre in keeping with the building's history. St John Street was acquired as an empty shell with an industrial palette of exposed brickwork and concrete. Using oak and birch ply, the apartment has been reimagined as a warm, inviting home that retains the building's industrial character. Now for the winner. The project stands as an example for continued use of long-lasting but carbon-intensive brick and concrete structure supported by high-quality timber interiors. The winning project is St John Street. Could the project team please come forward? The team is Emil Eve Architects, Tudor Contractors and Harbour Joinery Workshop. Now we come to the largest buildings category, the private category. The Boat House is a family home that looks out over the Salcombe estuary. The owner's boat building and timber import expertise meant that the best quality wood has been used. The project uses Sitka spruce, yellow cedar tiles and cladding adorning the roof and exterior, and an upstairs floor made from Douglas fir. Concrete Plinth House is a Victorian end-of-terrace house that's been adapted for modern living. A series of concrete plinths support the white oak frame, which makes up the fabric and lining of the space. The gridded composition has infill panels of timber or glazing. Birch ply has also been used. Leyton House sits on a narrow site at the end of a 1960s terrace. The house is composed of a brick plinth at street level, with a finely detailed timber frame structure above. Internally, a palette of concrete, brick, and timber softens as it progresses from public to private space. The project uses Siberian larch, Douglas fir, and WBP plywood. Snug Home is an off-site, modular, and net zero carbon home that challenges the idea of what a house is. The two-storey, one-bedroom home has such a small footprint that it can fit into back gardens or leftover plots to help provide affordable homes. The scheme uses spruce, birch ply, poplar ply, engineered oak, larch, valchromat, panel vent, and pine. Wooden Annex is an Accoya and birch ply single-storey addition to a fully refurbished 1950s end-of-terrace house. The customised CLT system uses a slab-on stud arrangement with a waffle slab fabricated from plywood sheets spanning in both directions, which reduces by at least 30% the amount of timber used in comparison to usual methods. There is a highly commended project within the private category. Highly commended is given to Wooden Annex by Tsaruta Architects. And now for the winner of the private category, a fabulous hand-built home with a wonderful story. The winner is the Boat House. Could the project team please come forward? The project team is Adams Collingwood Architects, Mr. and Mrs. T. Stone, Paul Carpenter Associates, Rosen Furniture, Stones Marine Timber, and Rathbone Partnership. Now, onto the small projects, which is the last of the buildings categories. Let's see the two shortlisted projects. Built East Pavilion celebrates Belfast's industrial past by using the Belfast Truss. Originally designed to make use of waste shipbuilding timber, many of the city's largest factories had such a roof. Built using Accoya, the project contributes to the local economy while also drawing attention to Northern Ireland's emerging construction innovation. And Unfolding, Pavilion at London Design Biennale 2021, is a flexible exploration into how engineered timber can be used to build a more sustainable urban future. The pavilion is composed of folding timber components produced using kerfing, a cutting method that allows flat, rigid panels to be turned into foldable or curved elements with select scoring and cutting patterns. The project uses Latvian birch, CLT, and American tulip wood. And now for the winner of the small project category. This modest project deserves recognition for how it uses timber to positively engage with the community. The winner is Built East Pavilion. Could the project team please come forward? The team is OGU Architects, Donald McCrory Architects, Eastside Partnership, O'Connor Sutton Cronin Consultant Engineers, Farron's Construction, BPJ Group, International Timber, Fabrite, and More Concrete Products. Well, we were aware of this. As they're based in Belfast, all of these people, they were intending to get here, but it may be that they're a little bit late. So their certificate will be kept for them and make its way safely to them. But congratulations all the same to the winner. Now we come to the Structural Award. This shortlist has been selected from the buildings shortlisted across all the categories. There are 6 shortlisted projects. The Alice Hawthorne by DeMattos Ryan, Sands End Community and Arts Centre by May, the Welcome Building, RHS Garden Bridgewater by Hodder and Partners, Ibstock Place School Refectory by McCrane and Lavington Architects, the Cantor Centre of Excellence, the Anna Freud Centre and Pears Family School by Penor and Prasad, and Magdalen College Library by Neil McLaughlin Architects. One building is highly commended for the Structural Award. The highly commended project is Cantor Centre of Excellence, the Anna Freud Centre and Pears Family School by Penor and Prasad. Now for the Structural Award winner. The building uses well-detailed timber structure as the centrepiece of its architecture. The structural solution provides for the necessary long spans and openness while creating a warm and dramatic interior space. The winning project is the Welcome Building, RHS Garden, Bridgewater. Could the team please come to collect their certificates? The team is Hodder and Partners, the Royal Horticultural Society, ROC Consulting, BAM Construction, Reds Joinery, ProWood, Stora Enso, Russwood, Hess Timber, and Hawley. So now we come to the furniture and product competition. 11 projects were selected across 2 categories, bespoke and production. And we look forward to reigniting the student designer category, which was postponed due to COVID, in 2022. The specialist panel, led by Corinne Julius, included Rod Wales, Yale Mayer, Sebastian Cox, Ollie Stratford, and Eleanor Lakelin. And within the bespoke category, there are 5 shortlisted projects. Bowater Chest of Drawers is part of a 9-piece furniture collection made exclusively with an untapped variety of British timbers. A playful ripple is signature to the collection. The top drawer hides a rippled liner that fits specially designed trays and accessory catch-alls made from offcuts. The chest uses cedar, Douglas fir, and ash. Gales Farm 5 is an exploration of textile techniques and characteristics using wood. The piece has a flowing appearance made up of thousands of small oak tiles glued to an open weave cotton twill, creating a curtain. The variety of colours and textures is explained by the different ways the timber reacted to weathering. Kingsland Dining Table is a reflection on the purity and simplicity of daily life discovered during lockdown, when life revolved around the kitchen table. Built in ash, the design process began with a focus on the joint detail. It's playful and distinctive, but not detrimental to the strength of the joint. Mesa Machine, which translates as table machine, is Spanish designer Jaime Jaon's vision of the perfect table and seat for his home. Like a Swiss Army knife, it can be pushed, pulled, and extended to change the function. This pure piece of cabinet making, made exclusively from American cherry, is a complex and ambitious multi-element build. Nordic pioneer is Danish designer Maria Brun's response to her ideal workstation. Made exclusively from American maple, the desk functions as a private space for work which can fold out and accommodate guests. The defining feature is the wooden hinge. Each hinge component has been turned and drilled to within a fraction of a millimetre to ensure smoothness of movement. And now for the Bespoke winner. The judges were impressed by this piece's sculptural presence. It highlights the preciousness of the material and draws the viewer in to examine its form and the quality of its individual pieces. The winner is Gales Farm 5, Wood Wycliffe, Stutchbury. Please come to the front. Now for the production category, where there are 6 shortlisted projects. The judges felt that this was the strongest production category they had ever seen. So let's see the shortlist. Allée chair has been designed as the archetypal lounge chair, but reduced to as few lines as possible. Craft and simplicity have combined to create a chair that will age gracefully. Available in ash, oak, or walnut, it balances aesthetics with practicality and durability. Corso tables and benches have been designed to fit comfortably and elegantly into everyday life. Each component and detail is essential. Solid ash is used for its strength, distinctive grain, and its ability to accept a wide variety of finishes. The V-shaped leg assemblies offer a distinctive elliptical cross-section. Cruz del Sur was born as a side table that the designer created for a friend who wanted a piece with added functionality. The prototype was created in wood, but cork was adopted for production due to it being easier to manufacture and ship. The simple yet functional table arrives in a pizza box style flat pack and can be assembled in just a few seconds. Iso Lounge chair is inspired by the chair sketch featured in the original 1930s Isocon logo. The design started life as a single sketch, where the hand flowed down from the back of the seat to the floor. Plywood was the only choice of material to follow the curve of the cantilevered design. The piece uses silver birch, beech, and oak. Ovo Chair Collection is part of a tactile range of furniture that celebrates craftsmanship and materiality and is characterized by the simplicity of form. Available in European oak or American black walnut, the chair combines 5-axis CNC machining with the highest level of craftsmanship to deliver a tactile piece with pillowed surfaces and gently beveled edges. And the T01 cross chair for tact has been designed with a deep respect for Danish design tradition, embodying its principles of craft, simplicity, and elegance, while embracing the economy and convenience of flat-pack furniture. The chair arrives as just 4 pieces of timber and 6 screws, which can be intuitively assembled using a single Allen key. And now for the winner of the production category. The judges praised its accomplished making and extreme comfort, and the fact that this is a piece of sculpture that disappears when sat on. The winner is Iso Lounge chair, designed by Jasper Morrison for Isocon Plus. Would the team please come to collect their certificates? And now, for the final and most prestigious award of the evening, the Gold Award. All of this evening's winners are contenders for this award. As a reminder, the winners have been The Alice Hawthorne by DeMattos Ryan, Magdalen College Library by Neil McLaughlin Architects, St John Street by Emily Eve Architects, The Boathouse by Adams Collingwood Architects, Built East Pavilion by OGU Architects and Donald McCrory Architects, The Welcome Building, RHS Garden Bridgewater by Hodder and Partners, Gales Farm 5 by Wycliffe Stutchbury, and ISO Lounge Chair by Jasper Morrison for ISOCON. I can now reveal that this year's Gold Award winner, which the judges described as a tour de force of architectural design and achievement, is Magdalen College Library. Congratulations to the whole team. Please join us again. Neil McLaughlin Architects, Magdalen College, Smith and Woolworth, Coxedge, Urban, Neuholzbau, Wedge Joinery, Piper Joinery, Trojanwood Joinery, and James Leyton. And while the team is coming up, I would like to introduce one of the major sponsors of this evening and of the awards from Binderholz.
Just a few words I'd like to add before you take the presentation. The reason why the Binderholz family wanted me to say a few words is due as an audience. We are a family that respects timber and love timber, and we're doing everything we can possibly do as all my other colleagues in the timber industry wish you to keep developing, pushing, and the boundaries of sustainable timber in construction, especially here in the UK. And I totally thank you all for pushing those boundaries, and from the timber industry itself, congratulations.
Thank you very much, and congratulations again to all the winners, and indeed to all the shortlisted entries. It's a fantastic crop of projects, which I'm sure you've already taken time to have a look at in the exhibition, but if not, I'm sure you will. That concludes the presentation for this evening. Thank you for your attention, and to close us out, I will hand back to Dave Hopkins. Dave.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you very much indeed, and thank you to everyone, and thank you, and a massive congratulations to all of our winners this evening. It is great to see everybody back in real life and here without a screen in front of you. I would just like to say we are going to be here again next year. Please put it in your diary. You will be getting the notifications for the Wood Awards 2022. We will be hosting them again in the Building Centre and hopefully occupying the whole of the ground floor. It just remains for me to say, before we go, a major thank you once again to our sponsors, to Binderholz, American Hardwood Export Council, the Carpenters Company, Timber Development UK, and American Softwoods. But much more importantly than that, for the past 7 years, and in fact, actually nearly 10 years, there's been one person who has almost single-handedly been in charge of running the entire affair of the Wood Awards, and she is very sadly stepping down at this point. Although she will be with us to help guide us from afar, there's sort of an arm's length management style. I would like to pay our respect and massive thanks to Francesca Gregson for running the Wood Awards for all of this time. Thank you. And turning the Wood Awards into the celebration that you see this evening. Thank you very much, Francesca. In the meantime, please do grab yourself a goodie bag. Don't go away without one. We have lots and lots of goodies from all of our sponsors in there. The magazine and brochure to celebrate the Wood Awards is in there as well. In the meantime, the bar and the buffet is now open again. Thank you very much for coming. Please do stick around. Thank you.